Dear children, good morning to all, and today we are going to see a topic, All the World's a Stage. This poem been written by William Shakespeare. Before going to see the poem, now we will see the glossary. Though you know already, just according to this poem, what is the meaning of those words? The first one, time, lifetime. We want to take in this poem, if time is there a word, it is lifetime. Parts, characters. Ages, period of times. Merely a small weak noise that a cat make. Peaking, vomiting. Whining, expressing unhappiness. Creeping, walking slowly. Satchel, a shoulder back. Furnace, place where fire is made. Woeful, unhappy. Oaths, promises. Paw, a large cat, which is now we say leopard. Justice, judge, or someone very respected person. Sauce, sayings, proverbs, or maxims. Pouch, a small bag for carrying money, now we call it money purse. Hose, tights, a kind of trouser, thin trousers that man wore in Shakespearean time. A world too wide, the world is much too big. Treble pipes, boys high pitched voice. Second, childishness, being like a child again. Sands, without. Bubble repetition, empty glory. Cannon, large guns. Capon light, after eating too much of vegetarian food, the deposition of the fat is called a capon lined. Fat eating non-vegetarian. Then phrases like this, lean and slippered pantaloon is there in our poem. It is a phrase, the meaning is thin and old. The meaning is thin and old. Shrunk, shrunk. Shrunk means grew smaller or narrower, and here shrunk means like taking away some pieces of meat from our body, we become thin. That is why shrunk. Then oblivion, forgetting entirely everything, is called oblivion, forgetfulness. Title, All the World's a Stage. The title meaning, the entire world. Stage. Stage is an arrangement made for performing and some dramas or some other meetings and etc. Here all the world's a stage, the entire world itself a stage. And this is the title written by William Shakespeare. And about William Shakespeare, he was born in 1564 and lived up to 1616. And both is, the people say, April 23rd. Both his birth and death. He went in the same date, April 23rd. He was born in British, near London, a village called as Stratford-Avon. Avon. That's why he is called Bard of Avon. He was the third child of a biggest family among 8 siblings in his family. His father was John Shakespeare, a glover. A glover, one who makes gloves by using sheep skin. He made some gloves and sold it and ran his life. There are different opinions regarding his father's occupation and the early time of William Shakespeare, and what we are now seeing is generally accepted and the same. Then within these 52 years, his lifetime, he lived 52 years, and up to 18, he lived in his village and married a woman who was 26 years old, Anne Hathaway, more than his age, 8 years more than his age, and had 3 children. His marriage held in 1582, and in 1583, his first child, and in 1585, twins. The 2 children were born on that year. Then Anne Hathaway and himself lived there in the village of Stratford-upon near London until his age of 23. Then he migrated to London, finding some other job. There are different sayings regarding his job in London in the early time, but what through the history we come to know is, he looked after the horses near drama theatres, like a coolie. Great noble people, aristocrats and kings, princes came and watched the dramas there in the drama theatre by leaving their horse pulling cart outside, and they were known as in olden days horse coaches, and those horses which are used to pull the coaches were looked after by William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare and fed them and watered them and looked after. After finishing and watching of the drama, those rich people may come out and give me a penny or 2. This is how he started his life in London. Then one day, in an important character, a drama, fell severe ill. He could not act at all in the drama. The director searched a suitable person to give that role, and by just standing back by giving dialogue. William Shakespeare came forward and informed him that he would take that role, and it was given. In ancient time, men came in women disguise and played the role of women, and like what is the role given to the William Shakespeare, he performed very nicely from that day in the stages. Without William Shakespeare's drama, Queen Elizabeth had not slept, and this is how he began his drama life. Then in 1592, in London and all over the world, there was a disease called plague spread the entire world. So, like now, because of corona, they closed the cinema theatre, and those years in 1592, they closed the drama theatre. Up to 1594, no drama theatres were opened. Successful people uses that time eminently and become great scholars. As William Shakespeare is a great scholar, he used those 2 years and wrote 37 plays, 154 sonnets, and 2 long verses. This is how he spent his lifetime. There are 2 years by writing this. Then after these years, again drama theatres opened. He was very famous and familiar in the drama theatre. He acted and directed and wrote screenplay, etc. Then in 1616, on April 23rd, he died in his own native Stratford-upon. This is about William Shakespeare. His plays divided into 3: tragic, comic and historical. He made a great revolution in English. Like William Shakespeare, none so far used the words technically in the places which are quite suit and match in this world. So, he made a renaissance in English. This is how the William Shakespeare within the 52 years made a great achievement. He will be living until the earth is as long as in the universe by his writings. And we will say now the poem.
முதல் எட்டில் ஆடாதது விளையாட்டல்ல, நீ இரண்டாம் எட்டில் கல்லாதது கல்வியுமல்ல, மூன்றாம் எட்டில் செய்யாதது திருமணமல்ல, நீ நாலாம் எட்டில் பெறாதது குழந்தையுமல்ல, ஐந்தாம் எட்டில் சேர்க்காதது செல்வமுமல்ல, நீ ஆறாம் எட்டில் சுற்றாதது உலகமுமல்ல, ஏழாம் எட்டில் காணாதது ஓய்வும் இல்ல, நீ எட்டாம் எட்டுக்கு மேல இருந்த நிம்மதி இல்ல. எட்டு எட்டாம் மனுஷ வாழ்வ பிரிச்சு.
Students, now we will see the poem line by line. All the world's a stage. The title is the first line of the poem. See, all the world's a stage. Entire world is arranged by the God like a stage, and that is Creator created a stage. And all the men and women merely players, and we are all the human being like puppet on the stage, and by some directors, that is God, and we are all like players, actors on the stage. Third line, they have their exits and their entrances. Exits, death; entrances, birth. All these men and women came on the stage after performing their role, disappearing from the stage. This is what happening in the stages. In human life, we were born on this earth and playing our role, and we die a day. That is exits. Exits means going out of the scene. Entrance means entering on the stage. Here, entire world is compared to a stage. All the human beings are compared to players, actors. And one man in his time plays many parts. You see here, the man means it is common gender, both man and women. People, that is, and one man in his lifetime plays many parts. In his period, life period, he acts in some role. In some role he acts in that. His acts being 7 ages. Totally there are 7 ages. However, the song what you heard told 8, but here William Shakespeare wrote it as 7. And one man in his lifetime plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. 7 ages means 7 that periods, parts, roles, characters. At first the infant. The first stage is infant stage. Our role on the stage is infant stage in the first stage, mewling and peeking in the nurse's arms. Nurses may be taken meaning mother or caretaker of the child or grandparents or real nurse if it is in hospital. The child mewling, that is crying like how a cat make noise, meow meow like that, but the cry of the child is taken by the Shakespeare and comparing it to a cat's cry, and peeking, often the child vomits. This is what, William Shakespeare, though he was a writer and based on some myth, but all his writings informs us only the science informations. You see, peeking, it is a psychological, that is physiological imbalance. If any goes extra into a child's body, that will be automatically comes out called a peaking in the nurse arms to balance its physiological. So, the child's character is whenever it need food, it will cry. If it goes over, it vomits. So, mewling and peaking in the nurse arms, and this is how the infant stage comes to end. See, in the infant stage, this mewling and peaking in nurse arms, eating or drinking and vomiting, the caretaker will take about that infant. This is the first stage. Then the whining school boy with his satchel. We have seen already meaning satchel. Satchel means school bag, shoulder bag. Whining, not willingly, reluctantly. The boy goes unwillingly to school, comes to the next stage, and shining morning face, the face is very bright after bath, but walking, and that is creeping like snail. His walking is compared to a snail's movement. Snail moves as slow as it could, like the boy is walking like a snail, unwillingly to school. This is Shakespearean period children's condition, but nowadays they are interested and coming towards school interestingly. In the second stage, that is school boy. He plays a school boy, the role of school boy. In that role, he goes to school with his back on his back, unwillingly towards school, like a snail walk. And then lover. This is the third. Now he enters in the third stage. In the third stage, he was lover, shying like furnace. Furnace we have seen already, a place where fire is glowing. The person is sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad, woeful unhappy. Already we have written ballad. Ballad is a song or poem. But what is the difference between song, poem and ballad? Ballad narrates a life history of some people, a story, that is called ballad. So, the person started to write an unhappy ballad, some stories in his songs, and singing that made to his mistress eyebrow. If he failed to marry that woman, he became unhappy and writes some sad verses. That is here we have taken meaning. In the third stage is a lover, and lover, he meet failures. He wrote lot of unhappy songs and sings about his beloved lover. And this is how his third stage closes. Now the person enters in the fourth stage. The fourth stage is a soldier. A soldier fights for his country, full of strange oaths, pledges and promises. I can do this, I can do that, like lot of pledges he can take, and the beard like the pod, and he grows beard like leopard grows. Jealous in honor, he wanted that respect or honorable pose, and people must admire him for his doing. And sudden and quick in quarrel, often he became short tempered and fights with the persons who blames him or points out his mistake. Jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble repetition. For what reason he becomes sudden and quick in quarrel? He wanted to win the task he is performing, that seeking the bubble repetition, bubble I already told empty, reputation glory. For this empty glory, he fights anything like, you see in that fourth stage, after becoming soldier, he takes a lot of pledges and then he grows beard like leopard and he wanted all the honor to him, and often he fights with his counterparts or neighbors seeking the bubble repetition, the temporary glory. Then even in the cannon's mouth, large guns are called cannons. He never withdrew or come back in his standpoint, fights against the things for the bubble repetition. In the fourth stage, human beings show some extra things more than his ability. Now he enters in the fifth stage, and then the justice. That second stage is schoolboy, third stage lover, and fourth stage is soldier. Now he enters justice, that is judge. After finishing that role, he goes to the next role on the stage, that is on this earth, and then the justice. In fair round belly with a good capon lined. You see his body appearance is explained with rest, eating too much of chicken, pile after pile the fat is piled in his stomach, so the belly grows. Rounded belly with a good cap and lined, with eyes severe. He shows his eyes always severe, and the beard of former cut. In the fourth stage, he grow beard, whereas now in the fifth stage, he cuts his beard. It is formal cut, and then from him full of wise sauce. We have seen already meaning wise, that wisdomic proverbs or sayings or any maxims. Often he compares with that with the modern instance and gave judgment. This is how he played in the fifth stage, and so he plays his part. Now his stage enters to the sixth stage. The sixth stage is shapes. Here in the fifth stage, he grow his belly big and his beard, his formal cut comes to a formal cut, and he was wise and giving instant examples with maxims and proverbs. And also this is the time where he can earn money and even collects bribes by sitting and giving judgments and etc. and all. He collected money. And in those days it was like that. This is that earning period. Now, and so he plays his part in the fifth stage. Now he enters in the sixth age. Then the sixth age is old age. Old age, into the lean and slippered pantaloon. The person became lean. The slippered pantaloon we have seen already. The meaning thin and lean. The person became thin and lean only. Again the explanation of the lean is given by a phrase, slippered pantaloon. With the spectacles on nose and pouch on sides. This is the sixth age. Always he has a pouch with him. The earned money in the fifth stage, he keeps in the sixth stage in his pouch, and keeping that pouch always with him. Spectacle is on nose. Now the sight problem. So he wanted spectacles. His youthful woes, well saved a world too wide. You see this line, the hose. I gave you meaning in the introductory part, that is glossary, tight pants. The meaning, a kind of male dress worn by people lived in the Shakespearean age. But you see now it gives gap, even we can keep the entire world inside it, inside the tights. That means his leg become very lean. That is the given world too wide. Say a world too wide. So the person's leg becomes very lean. For his shank. I told you meaning that shrunk means becoming narrower or grew smaller. The person's height too somewhat little bit because bending of the leg shrunk, taken away pluses from the body, and he seems to be dull and very shorter, and his big manly voice turning again toward childish. Now the tone changes, manly voice to childish, that is treble pipes changes into whistles in his sound. He got a lot of whistlings while speaking and walking because of age. Is sixth age. In the sixth stage, the man became old age. In that old age, his appearance and his activities were pictured by William Shakespeare in this way. Last scene of all. Now the person enters in the last scene, that is second infant stage, the last stage. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then this is the 7th stage. Now the person enters in the last scene of all, that ends this strange eventful history, and all these infant stage to old age and everything is going away. You see, strange eventful history, everything faded away. Now he is going to take seed, his second childishness. Again he became like a baby. He could not walk, he could not talk. He needed now help, like the first stage, what we told infant stage. It is infant stage, it is second infant stage. The man in the 7th stage becomes second infant stage. Everything goes away, he is second in childishness and mere oblivion. He forgets everything what happened in his life. Now there is no pouch. When he comes, he could not identify the people, either son or daughter or who they are. Like a child, he behaves. His second childishness and mere oblivion. Oblivion means forgetfulness. Sans teeth, he loses teeth. Without teeth, he is now. Sans means without vision, that is eyesight. And then without taste, he could not say what is the taste the food is, then sans everything. Again he lays on the bed. By comparing an entire world as a stage, William Shakespeare and introduced a man's role as 7 stages. The first stage infant, and second schoolboy, third lover, and fourth soldier, fifth judge, and sixth old age, seventh second infant stage or very old age. And this is how very few lines, that is very, and 28 lines. Within 28 lines, he picturized the entire life of the human being lives on this earth. By beginning, comparing the entire world as a stage, and all the people are actors. Then once more, what is the first role in that 7? Infant. Then the second is schoolboy. Then the third is and lover. Each role has its own effect. See, here it gets the help from parents or nurse. and there too the parents forced him to go school in schoolboy. Then lover he behaves himself and chooses and selects, and soldier wanted entire glory for him, and then judge he behaves himself. Even in that old age, that is 6th stage, he says this money is mine, but in the 7th stage he became null and void. Again he lay on the bed like child needed help, and then he dies. So, entering as a child, again becoming child, he dies and goes away from this earth. The human life is picturized by William Shakespeare within the 28 lines. So, these all the 28 lines are monologues talked by Jacques, a character, to senior duke. Senior duke was there standing. The monologue was talked by a character called Jacques in the play of As You Like It. The As You Like It, that play, Act 2, in the scene 7, that Jacques comes and talks in front of a duke the entire philosophy of a human being. And what are you going to take? And at the end, and nothing. The poet within this 28 line, by keeping one of his character Jacques in As You Like It, stresses that nothing we are going to take with us. Our life in the world is pure temporary. Our life in this world is pure temporary, or it is also called transitory. And this is how he completes his poem. And all this we must prepare, and in the next session, the next video, we are going to see appreciation, short questions, poetical devices, and paragraphs, theme, and conclusions. Thank you, children. We will meet in the next video.